Hi, it's Ollie from Techcare. Today I'm here to talk about Copilot. There's been a lot of buzz recently around AI. 2 years ago, ChatGPT was founded and brought to the world and brought some great enhancements for businesses, individuals, and there's been a lot of talk around what's been happening over the last couple of years in that space. We've seen growth in that space in terms of NVIDIA. There's been loads of businesses that have really jumped on that bandwagon. But today I'm here to talk about Microsoft's version of that, which is Copilot, and how that can enhance your productivity within your own business, whether that will be large or small. One of the big things you see it in is Outlook, Excel, Word, all of those day-to-day activities that you might be looking inside of and spending a lot of time rifting through and trying to do the day-to-day tasks. Before we dive in, I just want to let you know what you need to actually get Copilot running. So the main thing is some Microsoft licenses. You need Business Standard or Business Premium with the Microsoft Copilot add-in. Recently, Copilot have actually brought out the monthly subscription to this. Previously, it was only on an annual term. Now we can see real benefits from companies getting to know the Copilot ecosystem on a monthly basis without that annual commitment. So what actually is Copilot? Copilot is a form of AI, artificial intelligence. So imagine this, you've got your Word or PowerPoint presentation, you're trying to do a big presentation for the next day and you're really stuck somewhere, or you want to get a lot of data that's sort of in different places across your ecosystem within that Microsoft space. Actually, you can ask Copilot to do all that for you. You can prompt it to say things like, please build me a presentation based on last year's sales results. Please build me a presentation based on this month's sales results. If you've got all this data in the correct place and available at your fingertips, where normally you'd have to sift through folders, hours and hours of probably creating formulas on Excel, it can even actually do that for you. It can create the formulas as well. It's all about enhancing the productivity of the human at the other end. You know, a lot of people look at the likes of Copilot and they think it's trying to replace what we're doing. You know, I'm sure some of us have seen Elon Musk's robots, albeit a lot of them are struggling to walk at the moment. I think the main part is that we're not at that stage. We're at the stage of actually enhancing the human productivity. And because it's similar to, I'm sure most people would be familiar with the ChatGPT, you know, key word in that is chat. That response, that, no, that's not what I asked for. Actually, can you get me this? That conversational method is also built into Microsoft Copilot. But that data is your data. It's not using data from outside the organization. And it's also not using the data that's potentially available on the internet that you don't want to use. You can ask it to just use what you've got available. It's very useful for productivity in Teams and Outlook as well. So to create meeting notes, to formulate emails, all of the time-consuming tasks that might take a human 30, 40 minutes to actually think, oh, I've got to write a really difficult email. How do I word this? And the best bit, as previously mentioned, is staying in control. We're utilising Copilot within your own ecosystem. There's been a lot of talk of people uploading financial documents to ChatGPT, asking it to traverse that and give them reports, which it will do. Fantastic. But it's like everything on the internet. What you give away will be there forever. It doesn't age. It will stay there and it's usable by everyone. The focus on Copilot is to enhance the human productivity. It's not to replace us. There's so many ways that you can utilize it across that Microsoft ecosystem that will save 30 minutes, an hour a day at a very low level. But at the higher level, you know, when you start building out actual systems to integrate with, one great one that I've seen recently is to actually have an email plan. So, you know, for example, you might not be a company with no marketing budget or very little marketing function. You can actually have it build out some content for you. What a time saving. There's lots of little bits and pieces like this as a small business that you can do to save time where you might not be competent as a business owner because you're covering 100 different bases. It might not always be perfect, but what might have taken you 3-4 days in a room to try and think of, it can traverse recommendations, it can traverse what information you have, what information is available on the internet, and present you with a formulated plan to really help you kickstart the business. We've moved away from a world where work is only seen as a skill to a digital age where actually we're now having computers, AI, replace or enhance the work that everyday people are doing. As you know, it saves you time, it boosts productivity, and ultimately that will give you more time to free up those things that really give your business the value that you see. At Techcare, we value our advice, our customers. We're not just about the technology, although that underpins most of what the world is doing right now. And when we saw that shift to AI, there was a very big shift towards the investment in that. That technology should be enhancing the people behind it, not just being a tool that can be used siloed. It's to enhance that person that's using it. It also helps us get really good at predicting. As a business owner, you know, or you want to definitely know, what your forecast is going to look like for the next 12 months. In construction, you want to know what the materials could look like, how expensive they could be. You want to know what the workforce might be needed for that. You might want to find out what the difference in labour costs were compared to this year to 5 years ago. All this information can be gathered at pace, and that's the key unlock for using things like Copilot and AI. We need to get really good at predicting. To advance a business to its next level, you need to be good at predicting, and AI helps with that. Ultimately, if we don't know what we don't know, we can't make a data-driven decision. A lot of business owners, we go with our gut, and we have to sometimes. But imagine if you had that data at your fingertips and that gut feeling, how much more could you get done in that 12 months that you thought wouldn't be possible? I saw something the other day, which was a poster on the side of a building, which is AI can't build this building, which is 100% true. But ultimately, the one big thing that's missed from that is that actually to build that building, there's a lot of other functions that go into it. There's a back office admin function, there's an accountancy function, there's an operations function, there's a design function, there's 100 other different functions that actually AI can help boost productivity. And if you can boost productivity in those areas by 20, 30%, how much more, again, can that business unit get done that you didn't think was possible? So let's talk about what you need in place actually beforehand to get started. We've already mentioned the licenses. That's the first thing from the get-go. Your data needs to be organised. Copilot can only work with what it can see. Ultimately, whilst we've got all this data sort of spread about multiple different systems, Copilot is focused on looking at what it can see in that Microsoft ecosystem. Any kind of security integration needs to be handled in stages. So let your technology partner or Techcare help you get through that. And one big thing that we really need is a culture that's ready for change. Techcare can help with any form of AI implementation, any kind of digital transformation, but without a culture where people are ready for change and people can accept that what we do today isn't going to be the same as what we do tomorrow, because the world is changing. We're moving from a very industrialized format of work where people go to school, they get a skill, they get a job, they go to university, they get a better skill, they get a better job, or they might get a PhD and they then get a better job. We're moving now to a digital world where geography and everything doesn't really happen in the same way, which means we're creating new rules, which means that those that are used to that system need to embrace the new way. So there you have it, Copilot. Lots to talk about, and I'm sure there'll be more webinars on this, and we'll dive a bit deeper into use cases and actual real-world examples of how you can use that as a business. Our aim this year is to do more with less, and as we've all known, that is more prevalent than ever. We need to be playing with the big players. We need to look at what they're doing, and we need to see what 10% of that we can bring to small business, because even 10% can give great results. Copilots for every business that really wants to save money, become more productive, and bring themselves into that era of digital. Move away from the industrial. If you're curious, get in touch. Let's have a chat about how you can get AI ready in 2025.